So Blackmagic just released the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. Not what we've all hoped for, but what is it really all about, what it can do, I'm gonna show you in a second. Coming up. Hi guys, my name is Paul, I'm a German filmmaker and this channel is all about filmmaking gear reviews but also DaVinci Resolve tutorials, so if that's something that you're interested in, consider subscribe, I would really appreciate that. So before wasting any other time, Blackmagic just released the new 6K Pro. It's not a completely new model, it's more like an upgrade to the already existing 6K. Because it already has most of the same features with some additional features, which I will talk about right now. But before, why did I say not what we all hoped for? Because in the user group and in the internet there were already rumors going on about having a full frame camera, having it a cube size shape, having an RF mount, having 8K and whatsoever. So it is not quite what the rumors were all about. It's more like conservative, but it's still very interesting. So let me summarize that for you. Finally, we have a new battery solution. So the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro, it's an even longer name, so I will call it 6K Pro, now features an NPF style battery. It doesn't come with one, you have to purchase them yourself. I hope that the battery life is substantially better. Not sure yet, but they also will release an additional battery grip, which have 2 additional batteries, and you don't have to get the one which is inside the camera out, because there's a connector on the downside, so you will actually have with the battery grip 3 batteries running at a time, which is pretty cool and will give you a longer period of shooting time, hopefully. One of the biggest new features is the new tilting screen that it has. So on the back we have a tilting screen, very likely to or very close to that what Sony already did from some cameras that they have. Like you can tilt it up and down, it will easily allow you for viewing what you're doing when shooting in different angles. I'm not sure if it is brighter than the original screen from the Blackmagic Pocket, because that was when shooting outside, for me personally, not bright enough. For studio usage it's okay, but I'm not sure if the new screen is also brighter. Another exciting feature is the ND filter system. So the camera now features internal ND filters. So they didn't say how many, but I think it will be around 6 to 8 stops. I'm particularly very curious about if they have managed to make IR cut ND filters so that you don't have any IR pollution. But I assume since the Blackmagic or since the Ursa Mini Pro also don't have IR cut ND filters, you still have to purchase that for yourself, but not 100% sure, but I will definitely find that out in a review once I got it into my hands. As an additional accessory, you can also buy an EVF, which is quite helpful. I'm personally not a shooter of an EVF, but for a lot of people out there, I think this will be a great benefit, and it's costing like around $495, so I think it's a reasonable price. Then also we have now a second additional XLR mini connector inside, which is pretty great. So I think the audio solution or the audio of the Blackmagic Pocket 6K was already great, but now we have a second mini XLR plug which we can use for a second microphone, something like that. So that's also really nice. And Blackmagic also releases a new firmware update, which is called 7.3, which is also for the Pocket 4K and the Pocket 6K, and also will have the Pocket 6K Pro inside. So basically you will have a new RGB histogram inside, and most importantly, it supports color science Gen 5, so from the 12K. So that is really, really nice. But let me just summarize a few questions that I had in my mind. So many people were hoping for a cube size factor. So it's still like a big wide shape, and I think it's still gonna be bad for gimbal uses and something like that. It still has no autofocus, which I also heard rumors about. It has no full frame, but I was not curious about a full frame. But I would have loved to see like something like a box shape like Zcam or Red Komodo has. They have the same sensor as the 6K, so still the same stuff. What I also really hope was something like the features that the 12K has. For example, that you can also record in 4K in RAW without cropping the sensor. That's something what is possible on the 12K, so that would be a great feature. Don't know if they will do it via firmware, but I don't assume that. So most of the things we have to find out if the new screen is really bright enough so that it's really usable. Also, like I would have seen like an IR cut filter, because I think that's something like a necessity. Really hard English. But yeah, all in all, I'm personally not too excited, and I think also most of the other people were hoping for a lot more. Still, we have got some great additional features, but the question is, do you really need this camera if you already own a Pocket 6K? I personally think not. Because you will already have like a cage and something like a battery solution. So the only really upgrade is then like the tilting screen, and you already get Gen 5 either way, and also the internal ND filters. So yeah, that's like a question. It retails for about $2,500, which is a really reasonable price in the Pocket line, so that's really great. But if you don't own either of these cameras, I think I would really go for the Pocket 6K Pro. But if you already own a Pocket 6K, I think the upgrade is not really worth it. But anyway, I will test it out on a channel here, so if you're interested in that, just hit the notification and subscribe button. And if you have any further question, you know that game, just drop them down in the comments below. And I'm gonna see you in my very next video. Cheers, guys!